Hello and welcome to another edition of your favourite podcast, Insane in the Fembrain.
Insane in the...
Fembrain.
Hello and welcome again. Welcome to the show. It's your old buddy Rich Wilson. Hope you're doing alright. Hope you're doing well. Before we get into that, bit of admin. We've got to do the admin, but this is important admin. We would like you to sponsor this podcast. This is what we're after. We want someone to sponsor the podcast and to be there from the start to help it grow. You know, because it all needs. It's like a fire. It's like a beautiful plant, isn't it? It needs water and it needs looking after. And that's the same with this podcast. And you know, we'll come up with some funny, creative things about your brand, and then gently tease it into the earphones of over 100,000 plus highly engaged listeners within our show and across Acast and other famous podcasts. So it's a win-win, isn't it? You get to invest in this. You get to invest in some great podcasts. You get to watch these grow, and then you get some wonderful business coming back your way. I mean, what's not to love? You know, especially now the pandemic, we're coming out the other side, and it's a time for us all to come together and help each other, you know, get back out there and start paying the bills. Let's be honest, let's start paying the bills. That's what we want to do. We want to pay the bills. So, you know, sponsor the podcast. We'll look after you. You look after us. It's a beautiful thing to have. Wonderful teamwork. So just contact the show through this app, or go to producerpaul.co.uk, and we'll mail you the blurb. We'll give you all the information, and the beautiful thing about this is you get two for the price of one, because people have got two ears. Anyway, crap jokes over. On with the show. Now, I really love, again, I say this every week. Thank you again as well to everyone that's messaged, everyone that's taken an interest in the podcast, and thank you. It's nice to know that you're loving it, and you know, it really means a lot, genuinely, because without you, you know, we'd just be talking into the nothing, and no one wants that. And so thank you for your continued support. We have got coming up in the next couple of weeks, we start Insane in the Fembrain, where we're talking to people that are that identify as non-binary. You know, when I was growing up, it was either a boy or a girl. There weren't really any options. You know, that's how society seemed to be. And then over the last few years, you know, we realised there's more to it than that. People are more fluid than that, and then they're being put into these boxes. And so I wanted to find out, and so that's what we're starting. We're starting Insane in the Fembrain, and it'd be me talking to people about their lives, you know, and finding out about them and what it means to be non-binary, because, you know, I don't know. So there'd be more of me being awkward, asking clunky questions where you'll probably be listening and you go, oof, I wouldn't have asked it that way. But, you know, if I don't ask, I will never know. So, you know, that's where we're at with that. So that's coming up very soon. So let's get on with this show, Insane in the Fembrain. I was very lucky to be joined by the wonderful Tracy Whitwell, who you would know from Soldier and many other TV shows. And she's a wonderful human being. She's got a radio show out on Islington Radio called the Sweary Witch. It's a really good show. I've been listening to loads of it. It's brilliant. She doesn't care. She doesn't fucking care, and that's the beauty of her. She's just this. I want to say balls out, but there's more to it than that. She's just this not giving a shit Geordie who just loves life. You know, she's experienced highs, lows, but she's got this joie de vivre, if you like, that just is just infectious. And just from the few chats that we had, we were talking about the radio shows. We were both saying, I love your show. And then we were talking about punk, and she was talking about Dead Kennedys and the Sex Pistols, and I was like, look, I come on the show, come and have a chat. And it was brilliant, and she was really open, really honest, you know, and I felt like I'd known her ages. It's a really nice thing when you connect with somebody on that level. And you know, Tracy's she's just a very open, honest person who takes no shit, and she'll call you out if you're full of it, and I like that. And it was a joy to have her on. So, coming up in a bit, Tracy Whitwell.
A podcast from producerpaul.co.uk.
fucking lucky I didn't have a drink, innit? I didn't think you were going to see me. Can you imagine? I got me Aperol Spritz there. Nothing.
What do you mean?
Divina.
You look great, so stop worrying. You look
Thank
lovely.
you.
Yeah, it's nice to see your face. And it's funny, like, I didn't put the two and two together until we were messaging the other day. And because I love the show, the radio show, and like, you always seem really cool. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I know who you are. Of course, I know who you are. And it didn't occur to me.
You knew who I was.
Yeah.
What, from old telly.
From old telly.
Days
when I
telly.
used to watch telly, now I'm too cool for it.
I'm too cool for telly.
Yeah.
Actually, to be honest, right, I can do bullshit telly and I can do interior design telly, right? I can do anything like botched where they put operations right. But if I put normal telly on, I get depressed within about 10 minutes.
Yeah, really?
I don't do domestic. Like, domestic is what destroyed a lot of my life. So as soon as I go domestic, I get really terror struck. I fucking freak out. So I hate it.
Do you know it's funny with that? I've got an aversion to people asking me what I want for dinner in like 2 days' time. I can't plan dinner because that's all I used to hear.
I can't plan anything. Who's asking you what you want for dinner in 2 days? You might be dead. What kind of questions?
It's just if you're in a relationship and it's like, oh, do you fancy this on? I'll pick it up tomorrow and we'll have it. Blah, blah, and I just kind of, and it's not their fault. It's my fault. It's just what I've grown up with. Jade. I remember she bought me some underwear, really nice underwear, because I sort of related it to growing up and parents and getting old.
Yeah,
I didn't freak out. I wasn't
happy.
I was a bit rude about it. I was like, "Oh, thanks. Oh, I didn't know I needed any." And of course, that made her feel stupid, and she shut down, and we had this big row.
Wow.
And I didn't mean it. It's just that it was connected to old stuff, and I should have said. And I did later on.
We haven't started the podcast yet, have we?
Yes, is it? Just get into it. There's no
Is this
big
it?
introduction, mate. We do all that later.
Is this it?
Just ease in. Yeah,
Fucking hell, I could have told you anything. No, well, the funny thing is, you saying that like, relationships, what's that? That's the first thing. 2 years, mate, 2 years.
Really?
But also, one of the things about relationships that I think now, looking back, one of the fuck-ups in my life is I would slip into mam mode.
Yeah.
So I would like go from the most independent person you'll ever meet in your life, complete gypsy, traveling the world, going off as an actress, doing all these things. But then you have a boyfriend and suddenly you're cooking every meal and you're doing the dishes in the washing, but you fucking hate every second of it and don't realise you hate every second of it till you're in a bleak depression going, why? And you're like, I've gotten really fat and I'm tired and I hate how did that happen? And it's because it just takes you to the bad place.
Yeah. I know someone that has been with his partner for 30 years. They've never lived together.
No, I've always said people shouldn't live together. I tell you what, one of the big fallacies is if you move in together, you'll get more sex. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you are.
That's fucking bullshit. Because the minute you live with someone, right, the sex becomes part of the domestic setup.
Yeah.
And the minute it's part of the domestic setup, I would rather bath in bleach. And not really. I mean, obviously, for a while it's fine. For 2 years, you should be all right. But there is a shelf life on lack of romance, definitely.
Oh, yeah,
and all romance is still looking forward to seeing each other. And that's a darn sight harder when you're in the house with each other all the time.
Yeah. And that's it gets to that point, you're like, I wish she'd fuck off and die.
Yeah.
Fuck off and die.
Fucking hell.
You know.
The breathing. But the funny thing is, like, it's also, like, this is really true. If you know that you're going to get into bed with someone every night, then there's no winning it or that. And I don't mean that in a horrible way. I mean that whatever people say in the world about sex, it's a very primal thing. You cannot prescribe it. You can't decide who you're going to fancy. None of that.
No,
right?
No.
And you cannot, there has to be a bit of a dance to make it fun.
Yes.
And there's no dance once you've had an argument and you're getting into bed anyway. And people will say, oh, yeah, but what about that lovely closeness? And it's like, yeah, but that closeness can breed contempt.
Yeah.
Or you can go to bed and apologise to each other, but still hate each other a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe, you know, when you don't know how you survived this long as a human. I used to, like, people think you're trying to sound different by going, I have never fit. I never will fit.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know how to do this.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm just not scared now.
Yeah.
But
it's accepting that you don't fit. I think this has come up before. We've talked about this on other episodes where society says you have to fit into this box to be able to be a decent citizen. But no one fits into that. We're all animals, and we can't. I mean, there are the social things we need to do. Like, you can't, fuck each other over. You're not supposed to be horrible to each other and things like that. But we don't fit into this framework, which is why we've all got mental health issues now, because we're all going, oh God, I'm being told I need to fit into that, but I don't fit into that. So what the fuck's wrong with me?
Mate,
and that's what's happening.
The suicide thing, it's amazing because you trigger warning. But like, I had problems from 14. As soon as I got my period, I had massive hormone things. Once a month, I would want to kill myself.
Fuck.
Right. So I learned how to handle it, right?
Yeah.
And you just do. Just like everything else, you learn how to make things work for you. Right.
Yeah.
And so 3 weeks ago, it happened again.
Fuck.
It happened really badly. But what's brilliant, I call it my miracle. 3 weeks ago, 9:30, my son's in his bedroom. I can't believe I'm telling you this. 14 years old. He's in his bedroom on his PS4. He doesn't come out much. We talk, but he's fantastic. He's the most independent kid. 9:30.
Doing his thing.
Yeah. So I go to bed at 9:30 sobbing. And I have this thing. And I'm going to tell you this because I think everyone needs to know this. You have a thing you go to when you feel shit. Mm-hmm. And usually there's a trigger. For me, for years, it was weight, but there's all different triggers, right? So I'm lying there and I see a half glass of vodka and a half glass of cranberry in my hand. 100 paracetamols will do it. It's what my brain tells me. And then I start thinking, if I write the text, I can send it to my ex when I already know I'm dying, so that I have to send him a text going, don't let Flynn find me. Don't let my boy find me. You have to find me. Or send,
Yeah.
How the fuck? Right. So my brain did that.
Right.
And I'm having a cry. It's 9:30. But I've done the work. I've put the fucking work in for years. Yeah. And the next thing you know, I've been crying in about 15 minutes and I go, it's only 9:45. You could just get back up and make a peppermint tea and go and sit with him for 10 minutes and maybe write some more of your book.
Yeah.
But no, this has never happened. You are speaking to me after the miracle, because I woke up a different woman 3 weeks ago. The work has paid off.
Really?
Finally, at this age, I woke up.
It took all that time.
I know there's something changed.
Yeah.
But it took all that time, and I want people out there to know, like, don't be ashamed of things like suicidal thoughts, because sometimes they are absolutely led by hormones.
Yeah.
They show up and you go, I suddenly feel the worst I've ever felt in my life. But what has happened is you've had strong feelings, like mine was failure. I felt like a failure 3 weeks ago. I do a lot. And then I went, no.
Yeah.
And it happened on its own. And I went, I think I've fucking done it. It'll come back, but I won't entertain it for very long. I've nicknamed it Byron, the evil thoughts. I started all right, Byron, what do you want?
Yeah, here we are, Byron.
Here we are, Byron, nagging at me with your sad, lugubrious death thoughts. Fuck off. I have a child to bring up and I like eating nice food and drinking wine. Fuck off. And it's really weird because it's a heavy thing to tell people, but at the moment I think people are experiencing suicidal thoughts that they've never had before. I think lockdown has triggered things that normal people who've lived by the rules, there'd be no rules.
Yeah.
And
true.
it has fucked people.
Yeah, it's devastating. And I'm so glad you brought this up, because I was again talking to someone the other day about suicidal thoughts. Yeah. And we were saying there's that stigma attached to it when people go to therapy and they go, oh, have you thought, oh, you go to the doctor if you had suicidal thoughts, and then they think they're going to get immediately locked away and rushed off and have electrodes shoved up their asses and into their heads, and no. Most people have had a thought where they go, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm fucking done.
It's
with this.
Tiring.
Yeah.
Being alive is really tiring.
Yeah.
People have been fed the happiness myth, so you keep looking for happiness, like a state of polite melancholia is quite all right a lot of the time.
Just
Feel a
steady.
bit sad, it's all right. And so people are looking for something. So then they go, oh, well, I need to take medication. I was on for a few years, came off them about a year and a half ago because I knew I was done.
Right.
And I knew that they weren't working. So I was either going to have to up the dose or they was done on that level.
Yeah, right.
Hot yoga helped.
Nice.
But you know what? You've got to find your thing.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Humans do the work for yourself.
Yes.
And a lot of people say they want to be better or they want to not fall into patterns, but they're scared of the actual work.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
None of it's easy.
That's why all these fad diets always get people pump thousands, millions of pounds into them because, like you said, it's hard work. When you get to a point, if you're not happy with where you're at, to undo what you've done to yourself is fucking effort. And if you say to someone, it's going to take you 2 years to get back to what you want to be, and you don't have to lose weight, but this is for you if you want to. So I had a personal trainer about 5 years ago, and he goes, it'll take you 2 years to get down to what you want and how you want to be. He goes, and people don't want to put that in. They don't want to hear that. They want that quick fix. Do
you think lockdown might have helped with that one thing though? Because we've had to learn patience, and I think everyone was instant gratification led until a year ago. And there's been no instant gratification, none. Even promises of things lifting or it would get changed on a whim. No one had any control. And funny you mention that because as an actress, I had to stay really little. So I did, they went to Thailand, did the detox where you didn't eat for a week. Yeah. 2 18-litre colonics a day that you did yourself, shit like that, right?
Fucking hell. There's nothing left in you. You just hollowed out.
You floated home. There was no aeroplane involved. And so I did all of that. Well, now I just realised that miracle. The next day after that, I gave up on the pill I was on for, not for pregnancy. I mean, fuck me. Last time I had a shag. But I'm joking. But I came off. It was for my mood more than anything. Chucked that out the next day and went keto. Not because I have to. It will take ages for my body to adjust to it, there'll be weight loss, but that's really not the point. Like it does so many things for your mind and stuff if it works for you. Again, no quick fix. It depends what works for you. Low carb has always worked for me. I think I'm allergic to wheat. I don't know. Too many people say they are when they're not.
Sometimes they want a thing. And
you want a thing?
You don't need a thing.
No, and I've got about 800 things. They're not fun. Things aren't fun. They're horrible. Stop fucking trying to find some victim status. Be happy.
If you haven't got a thing, well done.
Yay! You're a winner.
That's your thing. You ain't got a thing.
I know. Do you know, after Christmas, I'd had enough. Like, the lockdown thing brought a lot of good things to people, lessons, But it does get to a point where you go, I don't know how I'm going to earn a living. I don't know what's going on. I'm still locked in. I want to drive up north and I want to get in the sea at Tynemouth, So I thought, right, I'll write a book. I'll write my 5th book because I've got a series. So it'll be the 3rd in the series. I've written 2 standalones. And I wrote it in 37 days, right?
Amazing. So, I saw when you were posting about it, I was like, fucking hell.
But the thing is, right? I stopped, wrote it, did the edit, sent it to the publisher who's interested. Next day, I'm like panicking like a motherfucker because 8 hours a day I've been writing.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what to do with myself.
Now what?
Writing another book.
You found your thing. That's your place.
But idiot, like this is what I'm saying, people kind of go, wow, you write books and you act and you're doing that. And I'm like, yeah, but you wouldn't want 5 minutes in this head.
I know what you mean. It's like a tombola, just round and round. And I've found myself saying out loud, I've been lying in bed and I'm like, can you give it a fucking rest for a minute? I know I've got to make that phone call. I know I've got to fix the car. I know can you fuck off for now? I can't do anything till the morning. Can you pack it in?
Well, I have to say, because obviously I like a little vino, and that's why I've accepted that, I don't want to be a size 8. I'd look like a rat at my age if I was an 8. But I've accepted that I'll have my curves a bit more than I would have done because I like a glass of wine. But what I have learned is if I have too much of that wine, you wake up. It's like a precise time between sort of 3 and 3:30.
Right.
There's an anxiety time where you wake up. And And it rattles. It's like you're like a fucking owl. You're wide awake.
Yeah. I had that the other week. Yeah.
Yeah. And you get it, and then suddenly it stops and you go back to sleep. And because I haven't had the fear of going to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, I've learned to not be frightened if I wake up, because that's why we get scared, isn't it? It's like, we're not going to get enough sleep. I'm not going to live as...
Yeah, exactly.
But now you can have as much sleep as you want, mate. It's sort of, it takes the sting out of it. But I know a lot of people who've now started getting the anxiety in the middle of the night. Because the real anxiety in the middle of the day, you're fighting it off all day.
Yeah, of course you are. You're not relaxed at that point. But then, as soon as you lay down, that's why, you're right. I hadn't thought about that before. Of course, that's why your head goes into a fucking spin.
You're fighting it all day. You're going, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm fine. And the minute you lose control of that is when you wake up and it all just goes, boom, comes straight at you, doesn't it? Yeah,
you're so right. I had it, the other week. I just woke bolt upright in bed. And I'd never been more awake, not even during the day.
Yeah.
I'd suddenly hit me with
owl.
And you go, okay. But I just embraced it, and then I tweeted a bit. There was a couple of other people that were online.
Yeah.
Cup of tea, and then just, I went back to bed. But yeah, I think people don't, because we weren't told growing up that life is hard. We were kind of cushioned. They just decided there was all this, you can be whatever you want to be. You just got to work at it and do this and do that. And they go,
who told you that?
But that's what it was like growing up.
Who told you that? No fucker told me that. I hated being a kid, mate. I could not wait.
Really?
Well, yeah, I didn't hate it, but I was very bored.
Right, okay.
The first thing I did at school when I learned how to write was write a play and direct it.
Wow.
First thing.
Fucking hell.
I'm not even joking, right? My parents used to tell me I was invented, that I wasn't of human born.
What?
They didn't understand at all. They're lovely, but they're proper working class people. And there's this dervish. I'm writing plays. He coming in and see me play. Writing songs, being in songwriting competitions. We read it. Everything that you could do at school, I did. I was a swot and I had no mates. That was so weird. But I have to say though, when I became an actress, fuck me, it was the freedom of that, because I had no money ever. Right. And I was being sent all over the world.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to handle it, but I had the maddest, most... Oh, my God. I remember seeing Orion's belt in Thailand, sitting on the beach, and I looked up and saw Orion's belt. And my mate just looked round and saw me sobbing. I felt everything rather strongly, is how I'd put it.
Yeah. I could just imagine where you were and what you were doing.
And my parents, always, my dad used to go, Tracy, life's not a party. And I was like, why not?
Yeah, that was it. It was always keep your head down. Don't make a fuss. Yeah. You're showing off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't until later on, so I was like 32. Yeah. And I started work at the comedy club, and other comics went, you could do this. You're just as fucked as we are. And that's when I tumbled into it. Yeah.
It's that thing of, even though I had this mad time, I got this job from drama school, suddenly I'm on telly and stuff, but I did not know how to handle not being the girl who lived in a caravan in the car park at college. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know about money.
No.
And all of that. So I spaffed it. I basically used it. I spent it on my mates.
Right, yeah.
But then at about 32, same thing. I was renting the place. I'd split up with the nightmare relationship. And I was massive into my music, as you are.
Yes, lovely.
And so I just remember walking into a local record shop where the guy behind the counter went, excuse me, Queens of the Stone Age are playing tonight. And apparently, and I've got no money. Do you know a way I can see them for free? And he rang his mate, just because I was full of cheek, and went, yeah, I've got your ticket, so go tonight and meet him outside, him and his mate, and he's got a ticket for you. And he's a promoter, so you can have tickets for what you want. And then I went on to the sneaker pimps selling their merch around America, and I just suddenly let myself feel free.
Yeah. It's a weird feeling, though, isn't it? To let
You kind of
yourself-
it's like you keep floating up a few inches and then jumping back down again, going, "Oh, I can't do that.
I'm not allowed.
I'm not allowed that. Someone will find out."
I know what you mean. I feel I'm in the best place I've ever been. I'm more aware of myself. Like I know I'm not. I can be difficult to live with. I can be a bit moody, and I get that. But now I'm understanding why that happens, and it could be just diet. It could be something else is troubling me. Yeah. But I'm figuring it out. I'm still figuring it out. There's this myth as well that you get to a certain age and you've got all the answers and everything. But even I've only just found out now that life's hard for pretty much everybody. It's only a recent thing.
Yeah, for pretty much all of your life as well. So don't be thinking it's suddenly it's only your attitude that changes.
Yeah.
Then there's the next layer of shit, and it's the deaths. As you get older, and also illnesses and stuff. And was told about this thing, the 7 sevens in life. So every 7 years,
right,
you're supposed to reach your next development place, like spiritually. Okay. And when you get to 49, if you haven't learned all the lessons you needed to learn by then, they all start coming at you and whacking you in the face. So if you haven't learned them, they come and get you.
Shit, right, that's what's happening then. That's why I'm being bombarded.
So you get them one after the other, like a wet haddock in the face, like constantly.
Every day.
And my mate had the same. He said that, like, he suddenly had this crazy breakdown it was the year before last. And we nearly never spoke again because I was like, I can't deal with somebody being this intense. I've got enough. I'm bringing my kid up. I'm not, But then we had a talk and he just said, yeah, everything you said was right. But I couldn't stop it. It was like a tornado of bullshit coming out of me. And it was because he's just turning 50.
There you go.
All started slapping him. And he's like it just got through it. It's like a different man, much more relaxed, much more. I think the more you accept in life, the easier it then becomes.
Yeah.
To adapt to new shit instead of clinging on to things going, I don't want that to change. It's going to change whether you like it or not.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. It's been in this since I handled the lockdown better than I thought I would. I was quite zen about it. I've said this before. Even though I lost every stitch of work in 20 minutes. Everything I'd been working towards in 16 years, all gone.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, but I kind of just took a step. I think it's done me more of a favour than anything. I've kind of I now understand. I understand the more simpler things, like the things I was chasing before. I'm like, no, I don't really. As long as my kids are fine, and I'm fine. Everyone around me is fine, and we're doing all right. And that's what you should be aiming for,
That's what I read. I've said on my show the other day. I studied French literature, and we did Candide, Voltaire. And the last line, il faut cultiver notre jardin. Look after your own garden.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
What's around you, that's what you worry about. And that's why Twitter, I might have to jump off. I don't want to hear any more hate. I don't want to think about any more hate. And also, right, it's only representative of the most shitty of people on there. Yeah. There are kind, lovely people who wouldn't touch Twitter with a barge pole that we're not hearing from,
Yeah.
And so, look after your circle and also have love for others when you can.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy shout, but it's in the end easy because it just makes everything simpler.
Yeah.
If you live by that. And so I was thinking the other day, like nothing matters as much as you think it does. Nothing.
No. You're so true. Someone said to me the other day, I was wondering about, I've got this shit going on with my car. It's a really complicated story. Yeah. It got to a point, and then I was talking to somebody the other day, and he went, just phone them up. Tell them what you did, and then go from there. It's a lease car, and I've run the mileage up far, far, far over the limit. Wow. But the engine's also fallen apart. So I'm now trapped with this car that I've got to pay for. He went, just phone them up. You're not going to die. They're not going to tell you off. I just got reduced to this little boy.
That's what you do, don't you? Become an upset kid. It's like my car did the same. My car, every time I drove it in the past year, something went wrong and they wanted 300 quid off. And it was like the 300 quid bingo. And I didn't have it. And so I'm like, well, what am I going to do? And there was one time that they said there was something wrong with the engine, and this light kept coming on, and then I just worked out if I parked the car on a hill pointing down instead of up, the light went off. I just started parking it downwards. There is a logical solution to almost anything, and if there isn't, just jump.
Yeah.
Just do and see what comes, because it's not like the amount of people. I was told about someone the other day who killed himself over money.
Oh,
and
shit.
you know, when you're worried about stuff and you just kind of go, are you kidding? In the end, fucking hell.
Yeah, not for money.
Not for
the thing
money.
that I mean, yeah, the only reason that it's been made to seem like it's so important is because it's businessmen that run the world. So they're the ones that tell us, this is everything, this is all, and then it's such a shame to hear that.
It's a weird thing, you know, because I was talking to Tom Bright the other day. We talk, you know.
He's a good lad. I love Tom.
Tom is one of them people that he has to be doing something. He's like me.
Yeah.
He has to be creating.
Yeah.
And so like, I'm always, if I'm not making jewelry, I'm writing. If I'm not writing, I'm doing some kind of podcast or blog, you know, always. And he is worse. He works all the time. And we were just talking about how the world's been run. So what's happened with this whole pandemic thing is that if you have clung to the idea that things will go back to how they were before and you've just waited for that to come, you're going to have a nervous breakdown in the next year.
Yeah.
If you've been open and gone, okay, let's see where the path's going to take us instead.
Yeah.
That word enlightenment that people have imbued with some kind of biblical terminology or airy fairiness, all it means is you're open to change. Yeah. And you're not frightened. And the people who've clung are very frightened. And the money men are among those people.
Petrified.
Because one of the things that's going on now is capitalism is falling apart. And we're watching it happen.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why that's why we're suddenly getting spammed by Bitcoin and we're getting spammed by this and that. Because the businesses are there, the money people are panicking.
And they're trying to scrape money back left, right and centre through the banks and stuff. There will be people getting horrible emails and letters, right? But they won't be able to do anything about it because they've got no money.
Yeah.
If enough people are like that, which there will be, that 1,000 threats aren't going to make any difference.
No, there's nothing they can do.
There's nothing they can do. And that is what is shit scaring them now.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that going, wow, you know, we've been born into a crazy time. We got to go to gigs where people didn't hold fucking phones up.
Yeah.
We got to experience music for music's sake.
Yeah.
We got to meet the bands afterwards because in those days people would come out afterwards, you'd have a chat, right?
Yeah.
We then went into this computer crazy age, right? And we've seen the change. We've seen Blair, when he first came in, it looked like everything was rosy and there was money everywhere.
Yeah.
Now we've been in austerity with that fucking lunatic who's currently sitting in number 10. We've seen so much. And now there is going to be some kind of conclusion to it because it's just rushing forward so fast. What if you can keep your head? It'd be quite an interesting view. What's going to happen next?
I think you're right. I think I've had conversations on a work level about comedy. It's a very similar thing to what you've just said. They just go, I can't wait, clubs being open, this is going to happen, I'll get back into it. I'm like, it's not going to be the same. It won't be the same. Loads of venues have shut down. Loads of promoters have had to go off and do other things because they weren't promoting. They couldn't do it. Mm-mm. So we're now going to be in a stage of rebuilding. I think it's quite exciting that we're going to be ground level.
Yeah.
All part of building up.
You can't talk about lockdown. I mean, nobody wants to talk about lockdown ever again so long as they live.
Never
and it's all we've talked about for a year.
Yeah.
I'd be interested, now that cancel culture's a big thing and all the rest of it, where comedy's going to go next. But I think it ties in with everything else. If you fuck with the music industry, you fuck with the entertainment industry, you start trying to police people as much as this government is, all that happens is there's an underground backlash. Yeah.
Yeah, you get punk or you get grime or you get whatever.
You get exciting stuff from creative people because creative people have to create. And if you tell them they can't, they'll just go and create where you can't see them.
Yeah, exactly.
Always going to be that.
That's what we said about comedy. They were going, and I'm like, no. We'll just find a darkened corner somewhere and we'll just do it there.
and people
There's
will
gonna
come
be
in and
places,
go,
yeah.
just make me laugh.
Yeah.
Say something appalling, please. Say something so fucking out of order that if we were in public, you'd get arrested. Do that because I'm bad enough.
Yeah. A speakeasy for the things you can't say.
Yeah, because there are so many things you can't say now. And they're the funny things. It's like they're trying to ban hilarity, the lack of humour about things recently.
That's what it is, yeah, the lack of humour. Yeah.
Have you, I've not seen a politician in that cabinet, though, with a genuine sense of humour in such a long time that I'm actually, I'm affronted. I'm affronted that they're leading me.
Yeah. yeah. You go,
because
really?
I should be Prime Minister. I'm really clever. I'm really funny. And I like people. And I haven't been rich all my life.
Yeah, but this is it, isn't it? It's because the people that get voted in now, they're businessmen. They're not people that they're supposed to be there. They're supposed to be our elected officials that represent us. They're supposed to work for us, and then they do what's best for us in our best interest. And they just don't. It's all about them. And then what we've seen, the corruption that we've seen throughout this pandemic.
It's in plain sight.
Yeah, and they're going
37 billion.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? And the funny thing is, you look at it and they're just doing what they want. And you're thinking, it should be like jury service. It shouldn't be something you're brought up to do your whole life. I'm going to be an MP and get all the benefits. People should be pretty fucked off. They have to do it for 2 years. Yeah. They should be annoyed, but they should be qualified mentally. They should have a good level of intelligence.
Yeah.
But they should go, all right. And they should be planning it out on a forensic level of what would work for this and that and this and that. And then after 2 years go, phew, I'm glad that's over.
All right, next, it's your turn. Yeah,
your turn. It shouldn't be an easy career move for people from public schools.
And that's just what they're born into, isn't it? Like you said. Yeah. And it shouldn't even be left and right now. It's just... No. Because everything's been so fucked, the whole planet has been through this utter turmoil. Yeah. Surely we should be in a place like, right, regardless of what we believe or whatever, we really should be mucking in together. And then people go, you're a hippie. And you go,
you're a hippie, hey? You're a hippie for caring?
Yeah.
That's the media. That is one of the cleverest PR machine moves, the way they have made it a weakness to give a shit about other people.
Yes. Yeah.
And people always bring up Hitler, right? They always bring up Hitler and go, you're fascist, you're Nazi, and it doesn't mean anything anymore. But one thing I will say about him is the reason he got where he was he had the best PR machine ever known to that point.
Yeah.
That's simple. And that's what this lot have got now.
Yeah.
A relentless, billionaire-led machine.
Yeah. Well, it's been like you see, they go, it's the, when it's problematic, it's the NHS, but when it's good, it's the government. So it's the government rollout of the vaccine, and you're like, fuck off, mate. You've done nothing. You're a big sack of custard, as my mate 76 said, and get in the fucking bin. You've done nothing but get in the way, and it's only because the people on the front lines that have really got stuck in put their lives at risk for us. It's what you should have done, but you didn't. You're like a general on the hill. You just sat up there eating your fucking chicken leg.
Yeah, but it's not just that. Giant fucking, the ostrich leg. But what they also do is they take money in front of us and hand it to their mates and go, there's nothing for the nurses. And people in this country go, there's no money left. The coffers are empty. It's not his fault. And you go, Did you
just giving it to him?
He just handed that to him. How did you not see what just happened?
Yeah.
He didn't even hide it. He didn't even do it at night.
As he was talking to you, he was giving it to him.
Handed it to him.
There's no money. I'll take this, Matt. No, there's no money. Yeah.
Do you know, it's funny, changing the subject, but on that thing of business ruling the world, right? I've never played the Rolling Stones on my radio show.
Really?
And I won't.
Oh, I haven't. Because they've just become a corporate monster. Is that
because of how many people they've sued? Because, you said "and the" in that song, and mixings "and the" and Ruby Tuesday. So we want all your royalties because that sounds like Ruby Tuesday. Like, they have literally raped people's. And I'm sorry, they did some great stuff in the old days, but I look at that and I go like Carter. I played Carter this week, right?
Yeah,
because
brilliant.
I think Jim Bob's one of the best lyrics. His lyrics are amazing.
Oh, Sheriff Fatman lyrics to that.
I mentioned that actually.
Yeah.
But they had this song which had a tiny similarity to something in a Rolling Stones song, and it was supposed to be on the Love album, the '92 Love album.
Right, yeah.
Or it might have been 101 Damnations. I think it was a Love album, and they basically had to remove it and not use it because this tiny similarity meant that the Rolling Stones were going to take every penny from the song and they would have got every penny from the album.
What?
So, or a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
That's not rock and roll.
No.
That is a fucking war tank with a T-shirt on it. It's all merch, money.
Yeah.
It's like this. It's this evil machine. Weirdly, it's the antithesis to like The Wall by Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
It's that is the war. It's that, and it just was. I take this stand about it, even if I think they've got good songs.
Yeah.
So so me living in this country when I take that stance about a fucking rock band.
Yeah.
It's just a killer.
Well, when they opened that shop at Carnaby Street, it was like the final nail in the coffin for that area for me.
Yeah.
Like, you got an M&M store now, you fucking knobheads.
Well, I just found out the other day that the Queen owns the Apple store on Regent Street.
What?
Yeah, $2 million a month in rent, I think it is. Like, yeah. So they're like
fucking hell, man.
They're business people, the royal family, and like I'm not going to slag them off either way because, to be quite honest, as queens go, considering they used to just point at people and get them killed in public, she's been pretty well behaved.
Yeah,
and she comes from that dynasty. She probably could point at me. Kill that tattooed bitch.
How dare she?
How dare she? But I just don't think, I've got other things to think about. Yeah. But you listen to that and you go, yeah, the whole thing is we live in a corporate world and badly, much worse than we think.
Yeah.
Everything's for sale. So if you're creative, it's absolutely like, of course you're going to get very down.
Of course you are. Yeah.
Because it means that what you do to them is valueless.
Yes. Well, as we've seen, as soon as this shit hit the fan, they were talking about the arts, but then they were talking about the Royal Opera, or they were talking about the high end stuff. They were, we must protect the arts, so the Royal Ballet gets £1 billion, whereas just everyday people, artists and authors, and just got forgotten about.
Got completely shafted, and you sort of go, well, other people go, yeah, well, I've done a proper job, so I'm furloughed, and they do truly believe that we just fart about.
Yes.
And I suppose if that's not in their world, I understand it.
Yeah.
But it's the malice. It's the kind of, there's something being bred into people so polarizing that you have to, if someone isn't definitely your type and with you, you hate them.
Yeah.
There's no kind of attempt at understanding,
Yeah.
It's made me want to leave the country. It frightens me here.
Yeah, it's changed, isn't it? It's just that air of it all. It's just, there's a lot of, like you say, and I think social media adds a lot to that, with that air of malice, and it seems everyone's horrible to each other, and I'm sure it's
love
not real,
saying unkind things, but it's more that also that because of the way unkindness has been enabled, it's put this kind of cast this pole where someone can say something terrible in front of you, and you go, Jesus, and they'll go, what?
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, you're right. I can't say anything because half of the people in this room will agree with you.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think where it's coming from is the fact that they're all, like you say, they're frightened.
Yeah.
It's all changing. They don't understand it, so now they're all scared, and the only way they can get rid of, they don't really want to deal with it themselves because that's effort, and they're sort of deluding themselves that they don't have a problem to deal with. It's not their problem, it's other people. So then they start
other people
gobbing off and having a go.
And it's like something that really upset me was that when the vaccine appeared, right, there already had been so much press about how short time it had taken to develop it, how it had already been around, but they didn't use it because they didn't want to use it on humans, right? And then they made that jump and all of that, right? And then they start being absolutely horrible to people who questioned it, right? Now, this wouldn't matter. If I'd had the injection, if I'd had the vaccine the second it came out, I still totally respect someone's right to question what goes into their body, because it's the only thing they truly have any ownership over, their own body, right? So for people to go, oh, you bastard, you just don't want to help, be there for other people, and all this blackmail and all of this, you're not one of us then. And it's like, what? And you COVID-idiot, you anti-vaxxer. And it's like, a lot of people who ask those questions have taken every vaccine they've ever been told to. They're asking questions about something because the press have scared them.
Yes.
So I just think, like, so you ask someone why. Don't be so dismissive and ugly, because people will react back. They'll kick back.
Yeah. There needs to be empathy on both sides, like you say. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, like, I'll ask someone why they think something, right?
Yeah, right.
And you soon find out if it's because they're a shit, because they've got no answer apart from that's what I think, and that, it keeps coming round to no plausible sort of reasoning. But other people, you listen and you go, I can see why you're scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everything is scary. Nothing's sure. Nobody knows what's going to happen next. We don't know how many shops are going to stay open. We don't know who's going to have jobs. But you know what? We can easily get through things by showing some kind of empathy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
no one's going to let you die, if no one's literally going to let you die.
No. That's the thing. That's the danger of social media, which comes up all the time. Is that it's always polar opposite. It's either yes or no. It's either black or white.
Yeah, always.
Whereas everything's more. I've literally just had a conversation with a guest that's coming out, and they're non-binary, and we were talking about that and talking about the fact that people are more fluid than they are portrayed in the press or on social media, and that goes to these. They're like, we should be able to ask questions and go, yeah, of course I want to be vaccinated, but what's in it? I need to know. I just want to make sure that I'm not putting some, because I've heard the stories. I've heard Bill Gates wants to control my life, and he goes, doesn't want to control your life. You've got a Vauxhall Astra, and no, come on.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I think that the questioning from people who are kind of informed, is that it's different to other vaccines, totally different way of working.
Yeah.
And so you can see why people are questioning, but it's not just that. And like the non-binary thing, like I wouldn't even dare talk about this.
No. Well, that's
wouldn't dare step on that ladder. Yeah. But at the same time, it's down to you as an individual and how you are to people one at a time. So I see these people who are banging a drum for either side.
Yeah.
They've got so much to say. And then I'm like, you know what pisses me off? It's me who has arguments in shops with people who are being unkind to someone behind the counter. It's me who'll stop someone from being followed by someone by walking up, having a chat. All this advice about go over and chat to them. And I've been doing that for I will always step in. I always have. I'm a Geordie big mouth, but I also know what I'm doing. So it'll be me on the tube seeing someone being treated not nice. So I'll go and sit next to them. Yeah. And then the person can't pick on them anymore because I'm there. Things like that. And so if I saw someone of any description, binary, non-binary, if there's something going wrong, I'll step in.
Yeah.
So I just sometimes, what annoys me is all the mouths. People, you go, oh, mouth. There's too many of them who wouldn't put their money where their mouth is.
Not at all. And the far left are just as bad as the far right.
Oh, God, I know.
You're like, can you all shut the fuck up? We are all trying to navigate this fucking horrendous soup that we've been thrust into. I just need you all to shut the fuck up and listen to each other for a minute while the rest of us fucking deal with this. It's like the kids are squabbling in the other room, and you go, can you shut the fuck up? I'm trying to deal with this.
Yeah, and it's also the cerebral thing. Everyone, it's all very well having a thought about if this happens, well, that could happen, and that's disgraceful, right? That it's just in your head, right? Deal with realities, not like, and the left and right, far left, far right, they meet right in the middle with that. To the point where I've seen squabbles on Twitter where someone from the far left has such an extreme view that someone from the far right agrees, then looks down their timeline and goes, oh, fuck, I've just fucking agreed with a snowflake, and then freaks out and backtracks.
Yeah. Puts loads of flags in their bio.
Just meeting each other in the bad place. Then other people are just trying to put a bit of positivity out there.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you look at the people who go, what would you do that for? You do something nice. Yeah. And you don't know why you did it. Why you being at what?
I'm of the opinion. This is how I live my life. I didn't know I did it. Everyone's cool until you do something and I realise you're not. But up until that point, everyone's cool. It's like with this podcast. I always say, look, if there's anything that you've heard, you want to have a chat about it, or you're feeling a bit shit, just send me a message. I'll always chat to you. And I always used to get bollocks. Like, you shouldn't open yourself up like that. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. Why are you doing it? You don't know that person. I'm like, but I'm just trying to be a bit more positive and put a positive energy out into the world. Because it helps me as well. It stops me getting all bogged down and turning into coal. My soul just turning into a bit of coal. It actually loosens me up. If someone, the other week I was having a bad moment, but then someone messaged me and he said, my bipolar's really playing up. I don't know what to do. I'm really struggling. And we had a chat. Yeah. And then I messaged him back. I went, mate, I really needed that. I needed it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think that's like what I said before about coming off the pills and stuff. I think all of that is so personal to the individual that you can never, ever judge anyone's situation. And I truly say, if you need those pills, fucking get those pills. Yeah. If you feel you've had enough of them now, find a way to wean off that doesn't cause you too much distress. If it's like people having a drink or people having a smoke or whatever gets you through, that doesn't hurt anybody else. It's no one else's business. It's not easy to negotiate anything. And the bipolar thing, which seems to be like really on the up, which I think is massively to do with society.
Absolutely,
You just kind of think, there but for the grace of the goddess, you just have to, that's why people put be kind on Twitter and they're usually the biggest bastards on there.
Yeah.
Because really being kind is the same as doing the work.
Yeah. Just do it.
You've got to take your own ego out of it, and ego is absolutely epidemic proportion an evil disease in Britain.
Yeah, especially in what we do.
Yeah.
And you don't even know you don't even realise that the bad side of your ego it's turning you into something else, and you start to have all these weird and wonderful thoughts about yourself, and you don't see it because your ego's blinding you to it all.
It's funny watching friends who end up in big in films or in Hollywood or whatever, and they're fantastic people.
Yeah.
And you watch and you see little things.
Yeah.
And you go, they can't help it because they're being spoilt constantly, because people are telling them they're great all the time.
All the people that are making money out of them.
Yeah.
They're going, you're amazing. You're amazing. Don't listen to that. You don't need that in your life. That's just that negativity.
You get addicted.
Of course. And why wouldn't you? You're surrounded by people telling you you're the best.
Yeah.
Of course you're addicted to that. And it's gonna. And then what really fucks everybody up is that you're the best. You're the best. You're the best. And then suddenly they go. And you're on your own, and you're stood there going, I thought I was the best. And they go, no, this person's the best now. You were then. I don't even know why you're still here. And that must fuck you up.
Well, that was because I used to do telly a lot. And then I had my boy, and my ex is an actor as well. So I did the stay at home while he went off and did loads of acting work. And I started writing professionally, but it's been a long slog, 15 years, and I didn't really make any money or get anywhere. So, and I'd gone from playing big leads and playing great parts to just nothing. Yeah. And actually, I wasn't aware how much my ego was devastated, but it was because it was a level playing field as well creatively, though. Once I went in, I knew what I was doing. So there was a part of my life where I knew exactly what I was doing, and I got a round of applause.
Yeah. And you go, I do have all the answers. I've cracked it. Yeah.
I don't get rounds of applause now, and I don't want them. I don't want them because they affect where my brain's at. I don't but I don't even think it's just that. I think in relationships, I think how people fancy people. I think young people now, the way you have a tick list, You know, you meet some complete bloody mingers with a tick list longer than your arm, and I think you should be so bloody lucky. And there are so many things that you've got to have to be allowed to be, you know, fanciable.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. We're lucky because if you're in the creative world, you try different things. Because if someone's funny or they're charming or they just get you in a certain way, you end up going out with someone who you would think was your opposite to your type.
Yeah, true.
But people in the domestic world of working all day and blah, 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 and you're told you've got to find someone and then you have kids and then there's the tick list.
There's a lot of making do. I found that people will make do rather than go, whereas I think every relationship I've ever been in, there was something indescribable about the feelings.
Yeah.
It was something. It wasn't necessarily what they look like, or because they've all looked different.
Yeah.
But it was just something about that person that I wanted to be near them, and that's what it was. Yeah. Whereas there's so many miserable people I know that they're just like, well, he fucks me off, but you know, he's good with the kids, and he does this, and he does that, and then you speak to him in the pub, and he's like, yeah, I love her, but we haven't had sex for ages, and this happens, and that. She's always tired. We don't get time. Blah, blah. And you're like, you are all making do.
You're all miserable.
Yeah.
But I think it's money as well, though. People
money,
get settled.
it is. Yeah.
I mean, when me and my ex split, the big one, and we're really good friends now because we worked bloody hard at it. But you know, that was one of the big things. We sold the place. I had something. We moved in different places. Mine got eaten up in 2 years. I got no work. I don't know what the fuck happened. Shit. And so you're just penniless. And I think most people are scared to be approaching 50 and skint again like they're a student. That's what I am. I'm skint like I'm a student, but I have a whole bed to myself. And you know, waking up at different times is fucked. My ex used to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and start going tick, tick, tick on his phone, right? I don't know how I didn't chop his head off. Thank God I didn't. He's dead, can he? But, you know, it's that. And I think that... I was thinking the other day, is sex enough of a payoff for being in a relationship? And I don't know if it is.
Not really. It should, like you said, it should be a fun thing. It shouldn't be on a to-do list.
But no, that whole thing, that I think people don't talk enough about it. They talk about things in a giggly way, right? But they don't talk about the basic human needs of you can't flourish as a human if you feel trapped. And people are voluntarily trapping themselves.
Yeah. And a lot of people like to go, I'm too scared to leave this. I don't want to leave because it's too frightening. All right, and then you're like, I'm going to be 50. I'm going to be washed up. No one's going to want to go have a 50-year-old. What the fuck? Yeah.
Nah, you blokes are all right. You just got forever. It's women where that happens to, not men.
Do you think that's because of is that biologically? Do you think?
I think it's biologically. I also think that there has been a lot of the whole thing about the crone and women being old, right?
Yeah.
There's a very good reason for that, right? Since 2,000 years ago, there's been this thing that if you let women get too uppity, they'll rule everything.
Right.
Because we have a female nurturing energy. It was such a mistake to do that because women don't really want to rule in the same way men do. So we just get on with it, but as long as, you know.
Yeah, but it's more like you say, it's nurturing, isn't it? Rather than ruling.
The big thing for you boys is, as women get older, their sexuality mostly expands.
Okay.
Whereas with men, as they get older, between 50, 60, beyond, theirs doesn't. It's harder for them to, you know, and I'm not being insulting, it's just true.
No, I know what you mean.
Women, women can
blossom.
stay filthy till they're 90. And that's why the crone and old women, and aren't they disgusting, when actually loads. I could not get rid of 24-year-olds when me and Don split.
Really?
I went on Tinder, pissed, woke up next morning, and I think I had about 18 super likes from under 26-year-olds.
Fucking hell.
So I chose two, both gingers, and I went out with one on the afternoon for a walk in the park and one to the pub at the night. Treated myself to a couple of gingers.
There you go, mate.
That's how it started. I'm not telling you about 2017. I was just drunk and filthy for a whole year because I lost all my confidence, and I don't think going on Tinder was really the way to get it back, but I learned a load.
Yeah.
That's why I took 2 years out. I needed to see that I could do it without anyone around, and it is sometimes sad and all the rest of it. But I did it. But I tell you what, I used to be, when I was in my relationship, I used to lie there going, I wish I'd been a slag. I just wish I'd been a dirty slag. And I mean that in a good way. I have nothing against people who love shagging people. And I used to go, that's it, I'm with the same person forever. Yeah. And I used to say to people who were getting married in their 20s, I was like, you're going to have to fuck them for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I know someone that's been with his partner since they were 18. And he's like 40 odd now. And I'm like, how?
Oh my God.
How have you done that?
That's like, it's really funny because like, just because I'm so honest about things, like people will go, should I have a kid? And I'm like, if you do, only have one.
Right.
And they're like, what? And I'm like, just have the one.
Yeah. See how you go.
Don't be planning on anyone. And like, don't marry. You're in your 20s, so you're never going to fuck anyone else again. Is that your decision? And you see them as well, the penny drops.
Yeah.
You see their little face, like that quick side glance where they go, no, that's fine, I'm fine with that. They've got their inner voice by the neck. And their inner voice is going, don't do it! Don't!
It's going to be the last vagina you ever see. It's the last cock. The last cock.
You'll never see one again.
It's going to be that one. And it's going to change shape and go a weird colour.
No, it's not going to go a weird colour. It's just going to stop working at some point.
Oh, God.
I'm a bastard on her. I should not be allowed on here. I hope my mum doesn't hear this.
I think it's brilliant. But that's how it should be. Should be more open and honest about it.
Oh, I'm never, ever not honest.
But this is the thing. There's this whole thing surrounding sex where you really hit the nail on the head when you said it should be fun. It should be fun. The dance should be fun. And when it stops being fun, that's when you should stop, you know.
My mate said the other day, she said she truly believed the first time someone fancies you, accidentally touches you on the leg and it gives you an electric shock.
Yeah.
She said for her, that is sexier than the moment you actually let them put it in.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I see that. I can see that.
That's my favourite scene.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a dirty book. Well, not a dirty book. That's a lie because I'm comedic. So I wrote a naughty book because I was so angry that 50 Shades of Grey was being sold as a proper sexual book, and it isn't.
Oh, that's bollocks.
How is that 27-year-old a billionaire? It's never explained. How is she... 21-year-old virgin English major without a laptop. The worst bit is the virgin and the laptop thing. They're both equally shit. But also the sex. Someone tried to take me in a room and beat me up. I'd fucking strangle him to death and throw him out the window. There's nothing sexual there.
No, not beating.
So I wrote this book called Time for Alice, which I took off the market because I want to change it. But it's really about what happens when you find out your partner's just living his life like he was before while you're bringing the kid up, and you find out he's been copping off with a lass from work. My character just goes on a breakfast cereal and Prosecco diet and starts shagging everyone she feels like, but she's got all the guilt.
Right.
So the first person she cops off with, she doesn't let him put it in because then it's not sex. And my mate said, that's the first time I've ever seen that in a book.
Yeah.
No one ever talks about the strange levels of morality we have.
Yeah, I'll do that because it's not. That's
yeah, it's not. It was not actually sex. It is. Yes, it is. But I kind of that stuff you can't always talk about because obviously some people freak out. But also, you know, it sounds like you're just trying to steer the conversation around to naughtiness all the time. Well, actually, you should be able to steer the conversation to pretty much anything and it not be a problem with grown adults.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
you know,
you can have these conversations. It doesn't mean you got your knob out going,
yeah, that's the other thing. Sometimes there is that thing of people think you're doing that because you fancy them, and then you're getting that really horrible situation when you go, no, I was talking about it because I find it funny. Could you put that away, please?
Yeah, you imagine that. Bust it up now.
No, don't be doing that on a podcast.
No one needs that, man. No one needs that in their life. I do want to. There was something you mentioned just now earlier on.
Yeah.
We'll touch on it briefly because I don't want to keep you all day, but you said you lived in a caravan.
I did.
In the uni.
When I was at drama school,
yeah,
my dad didn't earn much, so I got a bit of a grant. But then he got made unemployed and he was too embarrassed to tell them. So I was 300 down on my grant, which at the time was a huge amount of money. So when it got first year, I went to my mates in Portsmouth where she lived, or Fareham actually. And we were both goths and I didn't feel like I fitted. And I was on the music scene in Newcastle. I show up and then all these people are into being skinny and starving themselves and being actresses. I didn't know what any of that meant. I was just canny good at acting sometimes.
Yeah.
So we went off to go to a club in Fareham and just be amongst goths. And this guy was selling a caravan next door. And it was a static caravan. And so it meant if I bought that, I didn't have to pay rent.
Yeah.
So I bought it and they brought it to London and put it in the car park in Deptford for me. So I'm in the car park in the Deptford branch of the drama school. Honestly, I could have been burgled with a hefty fucking tin opener. And so I lived in there for a year. And I became like fucking Deptford character, at drama school, like living in this little caravan. I had this broken banjo that I used to play, and I used to paint pictures, and I grew my own one marijuana plant, which I kept on top of the little toilet. And yeah, I lived there for about a year, and then the new year came in, like the year below me, and obviously, like, who's that woman who lives in...
and
they were into the same kind of music, and so they invited me to live in their flat. And at the same time, the college evicted me because they said you can't live there; it's against all health and safety. But I've been there a year.
Yeah.
So then I sold it for how much I'd bought it for.
Brilliant. There you go. Fucking hell.
And the college gave me a poverty fund grant because they felt guilty. So that paid my rent,
mate. See, I'm glad I asked you now. But it's things
amazing.
like that it makes your life more colourful, and instead of you've obviously see it as it was a really terrible situation you were in.
That was amazing. It was living under the radar.
But it was brilliant. Yeah,
I would run into college of a morning, right? They had the old-fashioned radiators. I'd run up to the toilets upstairs, wash my clothes just with the soap in the toilets, put them over the radiators, and by the end of the school day, they'd be dry. Just lived like an absolute tramp and loved it. I used to copy Dex a jewel into me belly button. I used to have a little crop top and gypsy clothes and go to all the festivals. And, I had a good time.
Yeah.
I had a good time, and being penniless was so used to it. The lads on the market in Deptford would shove in a bit of extra fruit in the bag. Someone lent me a bike so I could cycle to Sidcup every day and back.
Wow. Yeah.
It was all character building,
Yeah, character building. Yeah, exactly. And then once you've experienced that, it takes the gloss away. It takes away from your eyes. You see life for how it really is, and I think that's why you're probably in a better position now than most. Yeah.
I mean, November was, this November just gone was oven chip month. It's funny because I'm not eating carbs now, and I just lived on oven chips for the month because I didn't have any money. And my mate had bought me an air fryer. So do oven chips in the air fryer, right? And crumbled blue cheese on. It's still posh, isn't it?
Yeah, if you like.
So I had posh blue cheese chips for a month.
Oh, God. The air fryer is good though. I love the
air fryer.
Magic.
Chuck the chicken wings in there with your own sort of spices on, and that's a meal for me now. Sorry vegans, sorry veggies. I have lived as a veggie loads and then gone off the wagon and then gone on again, but I couldn't do vegan because I just love cheese.
Yeah, I love cheese, and vegan until vegans sort the cheese out.
Yeah,
I'm not going near their food. But I do feel my flatmate's all veggie at the minute, and he's been cooking us a bit of dinner, and I do feel better. I don't hate myself after every meal, which is nice.
Well, weirdly, that's why I'm liking doing keto, because as an actress for years, everything I ate, I felt like guilty that I put it in my face.
Yeah.
Now I know what I'm allowed to eat.
Yeah.
Just makes life easier, and I lived veggie a few times just because I don't really care about meat. I'd rather not, but it's not like I buy loads of it. But it's that thing of if I know what I can have.
Yeah.
Mostly I make nice salads. If you know how to make good dressings,
Yeah.
Then salads and vegetables become delicious. And then you
Yeah.
just add a different kind of cheese each time.
Yeah. Seeds as
happy.
well. Seeds changed my life.
Oh, seeds are fantastic.
When Jade and I first got together, and she made me this salad and it had seeds on it. I look at me, I'm still talking about it now. Those years ago. Seeds are the way. Chuck a load of seeds on it, mate. On your
what
salad.
about me going from Geordie land, right, where
Yeah.
my parents wouldn't eat garlic or I thought olives were just things you put in drinks. I mean, I had no idea, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess like the first job I get was a massive Catherine Cookson. So I was up north filming and it was like shooting a movie. And soon after I did The Knock and then I did Soldier and they sent me off to Cyprus for a month.
Right. Oh,
I had no idea. This was like 1994 or something.
Yeah.
I tried the Mediterranean diet firsthand. I could not handmade hummus and taro masala
Nice.
and salad and stuff, and it changed everything.
Yeah. I love it. I love
fucking
Cyprus.
gorgeous fresh food.
Yeah. I love
And,
it. I've worked a lot in Cyprus. I did a lot of gigs for the troops and I was always
nice.
excited to go. You
Yeah.
know, I know I was making money from war and I feel a bit...
Let's not.
But you know.
That was just a thing. Don't think about it. Don't go there. No. We're talking about happy things here.
That's right. But the hummus, fucking hell, the food is incredible. Although
The food is lush.
I did have this seafood platter in this restaurant, and they came out, and everybody was so disgusted with my plate because of what it looked like. They put their menus up around it so they couldn't see it because it was a whole fish, like Tom and Jerry fish, but deep fried.
Oh my
Just
god!
this fish. I'm like, even I didn't want to eat it. There was just this square of fish. Don't know what that was.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
But I have to say, that was part of the adventure of learning things new. And what's lucky is like my dad's a very, very intelligent man.
Yeah.
And I got his brain, so I kind of, but in a better way where I didn't have to stay at home because I had kids dead young and stuff. So
Yeah.
I was adventurous always. I wanted to try new food. I wanted to meet new people, and I wanted to see what the world was about.
Yeah.
And I always said, like, I never wanted to fuck the band. I wanted to be the band. That's why I wasn't a groupie.
Yeah, that was
I
the
never
difference.
shagged these. I wanted to be the band. And that's how I felt about life. I didn't want to be an observer in that way. I wanted to go and try everything.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what makes you not hate.
Yes, exactly. And like we've said before, it's that fear that makes people say horrible things.
Yeah.
What a beautiful way to finish. That's lovely, that is. Well, that's lovely. Thank you
bless
so much
you.
for coming on. Did
That's all right.
you say, is it Tynemouth? Timoth? Tynemouth.
Tynemouth.
Yeah, because there's a seafood shack on the
Yeah,
beach.
the seafood check is absolutely... My friends put pictures up on Facebook just to piss me off. Fantastic. I do love seafood, and I did go on a date. I allowed myself a date last November, just before it all locked down, and he took me to Jay Shiki's. And it's just constant oysters and
I love
my
oysters.
god,
Yeah,
and lobster, and I was like, you know what? That's a good date, mate.
Well done. Yeah, there's your round of applause.
Round of applause.
Ah, Tracy, this has been amazing. I knew you'd smash it.
Please don't put out the things that'll get me arrested.
We'll cut that bit off at the beginning.